The only thing this movie was missing were those bagpipes. What's going on, guys? My name is Trevor. Welcome back to the channel. Dune Part 2 hits theaters this weekend. I've been lucky enough to see this movie early today. I'm sharing with you guys my non-spoiler thoughts on Dune Part 2. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you've already seen the movie, and if you haven't seen it yet, are you looking forward to it? And are you planning on watching it opening weekend? Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and let's hop into this.
You're brave, we all know that. Be simple. Be direct.
So this was my most anticipated movie for 2023 and my most anticipated movie for 2024. I've been beyond excited for this movie because I love Dune Part 1 from 2021. And coming into this one, my expectations were monumental because I love the first Dune so much. Everyone, all those early reactions were saying that Dune Part 2 is that much better. And I am so thrilled to say that yes, Dune Part 2 is that much better. Everything that made the first Dune great makes Dune Part 2 great, but just sprinkles so much more action throughout Dune Part 2, and it makes it just that much better. This time we get to find out so much more about the Fremen and Chani, who played by Zendaya, and we get to find out so much more about the planet of Arrakis. And Denis Villeneuve just dives so deep into the lore of Dune, and he dives so deep in just making this world so immersive. I mean, I cannot believe that they made a movie like this. Like, when you're watching these special effects, it just looks so real, and it's kind of bizarre that they can make a movie look so real, look so good, and you just gotta applaud Denis Villeneuve and the whole editing team and everyone making this movie because it's beautiful to look at. The visuals are a spectacle, the worms look fantastic, the spaceships is blowing up, looks like you're really there, and the shot selection, cinematography is just, it screams Oscar wins in my opinion. This movie can get nominated for probably 10 plus Oscars, and I would like to see some acting nominations get in there as well. The cast this time around is really focused on Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet playing Paul Atreides. Paul Atreides is slowly becoming one of my favorite movie characters of all time, and Zendaya, she's always great, but she's even just that much better as Chani in this movie. She's fantastic, and her relationship with Paul really progresses throughout this movie, and you really get something to attach yourself to here. They have so many great elements of foreshadowing with this couple, and they go through a lot throughout this movie, and you go through a lot with them, so when things happen, you can really kind of pick a side, whether Paul's in the right or Chani's in the right, you can really pick a side throughout that. The romance throughout this movie really keeps you invested because a lot of the movie does focus on them, but the cast in general throughout this film is just perfect. I mean, Florence Pugh's in there. I honestly forgot she was going to be in this movie. She's great and everything. Christopher Walken, the little screen time he has, he does great as well. Austin Butler, scene stealer. When Austin Butler finally came on the screen, I was just hoping he would be this menacing, crazy guy, and he plays Feyd-Rautha so well. Kind of scary how well he plays him, and he plays this psychotic person, as they call him, literally to a T, and he seems like a psycho, and just the way his mannerisms, the way he looks, and how jacked he is for this movie. Austin Butler, real scene stealer. But in my opinion, the main scene stealer throughout this was Javier Bardem as Stelgar. This guy had my entire theater roaring with laughter. In a Dune movie, people were clapping and cheering just because Stelgar was so funny. Javier Bardem's got really good comedic timing. Several times throughout it, I was even laughing my butt off. The production of this movie is great. The cast is great. You know what else is great? Hans Zimmer's score. Now, we are missing the bagpipes. I was really hoping we get a little reprise of the bagpipes throughout here. But just the Dune score itself is so beautiful. I could listen to it running, reading, trying to go to sleep, trying to go work out. That Dune score, no matter what, is going to hit. And I got to see this in IMAX, and it rattles your ribcage how loud it is and how immersive it is. And they filmed this with IMAX cameras. So if you can go and see this movie in IMAX, that is definitely the way to do it because it is filmed for IMAX and is probably the best way to see this movie. It's so epic. It's so grand. And to see it in its true format, beautiful. And the action throughout this movie literally starts in the beginning and it's pretty much throughout the entirety of this movie. It is action freaking packed, and the first Dune definitely lacked a little bit more of the action. Definitely had more of those character studies, more of the world building. With this one, you still have those character studies, you still really diving deep on the world, but they have so much more action, whether that's the Fremen taking down the Harkonnen's ships, whether that's riding the sandworms, whether that's the big epic battle in the third act, and the third act is bar none perfection. And the way that Paul Atreides grows throughout this movie, you go on this journey with him. You knew who he was in the first one. He knows a lot. He's really learning. And he had the whole conversation with his dad where a man is not born to lead, he's called to it. And if your answer is no, then it's no, basically. Then with Dune Part 2, that call is there. His answer ain't no. That's all I'm gonna say. At the end of the day, Dune Part 2 gave me everything and more I could have wanted in a sequel to Dune, and just in a movie in general. For a movie that I was so hyped for, was not nervous going into this one. I was just excited. And at the end of the day, this is why you go to the movies. You go to the movies to see spectacles like Dune Part 2 on the biggest screen possible with one of the most stacked casts ever. We haven't even talked about Rebecca Ferguson yet. She goes on an insane journey herself. And this is one of those movies that I cannot wait to watch again. It's a 2-hour and 45-minute movie that just zoomed by. Every time I looked down on my watch, I was hoping I still had 2 more hours to watch. That is one of the biggest compliments I can give this movie. Timothée Chalamet is one of my favorite working actors, if not my favorite working actor today. The action is grand. Denis Villeneuve just crafted a movie so perfect, and I hope we get Dune Part 3, The Messiah, because how this movie ended, it leaves you wanting more, and that's a good thing. I have no negatives for this movie. The runtime never bothered me. The way they handled the story never bothered me. I thought everything about this movie was perfect. It is 1000% a 5 out of 5, a 10 out of 10, 100%. It is a perfect movie from start to finish. It's one of my favorite sci-fi movies ever, and I absolutely love Dune Part 2. I'm so happy to say I did, and I'm seeing it again on Thursday. Those are my thoughts on Dune Part 2. Have you seen it? If you have, did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? If you hated it, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what movie you'd like if you hated Dune Part 2. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. I'll have a Dune spoiler review and a couple of Dune rankings coming later this week. Looking forward to all those. Hit the like button, subscribe, and notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. I'll see you in the next one.